We're back, folks, with a Season 1 style opener. I'm Douglas Smythe from PhoenixShaving.com, and to my left,
Matt Pisarcik, Razor Emporium.
Today, we are going to be talking about all things
straight razor upkeep.
What's that?
Had a half a second.
You did have a half a second.
Okay. You've gotten into straight razor shaving. You've mastering it, or at least not cutting your face off. Watch our first date episode if you did.
Yes.
And now you're wondering, how do I keep the sharp edge going? We're going to cover all those and more on today's episode of I'd Lather Be Shaving.
Woo! Woo!
And we're back.
Burley, when I wake up early in the morning, lift my head, I'll stop singing. Okay, Burley, folks, Burley. Some of you know Burley, some of you have heard of Burley.
Some of you are burly.
But let me tell you, this is not the Burley that you're thinking of.
This is not your mother's burly.
This is not your grandfather's Burley.
Well, you don't know about that.
It could be your grandfather's
Women were
Burley.
strong back in the day.
It's true, and so were the
Really
men.
strong.
And kids
Were good looking, and everyone was above average. On a side note, Burley was rocking the scene.
Do you listen to NPR?
No. You kidding me?
Closet NPR listener.
What do we got? Tell me about the scent profile.
Well, you kind of just took it over. Okay, first of all, guys, this is Burley, but this is Burley by Amor Dial from where is it from?
Phoenix, Arizona. Wow.
That's right, folks. 1967. So this predates Old Spice's Burley.
So they totally ripped it off.
I don't know, but they definitely ripped off the name. They came out in 1968. Now smell the difference. You just mixed and mingled a lot.
I know, it's really hard because I have some on my
If you
finger.
weren't so quick to
It's-
splash that on yourself. But
It's close. It's similar. They're not cousins. I mean,
I think it's two different animals, to be perfectly honest.
Really?
Yeah, but you mixed and mingled.
okay, this one's spicier.
It's very different, and I actually prefer. I hate to say it, but I do prefer this Burley
muskier, spicier.
over the Old Spice Burley.
It's more burly, really.
They're just two different animals, so you know what you're gonna get. But
This is
so
like
there's no
Burley.
confusion when you find this on eBay. This is a different Burley.
This is burly. This is burlesque.
No, that's not the case at all. But anyways, bergamot, lemon, clary sage are the top notes. Rose, orris lang-lang,
I love orris
angelica,
lang-lang.
carnation, middle notes, and musk, patchouli, vetiver, leather, cistus, and albinum. It's magical stuff, folks, and it's different. And I didn't put any on yet. Matt's been hogging this Burley since we got here.
I love burly.
I like to put it in my stash, dude. No, I really like this. This is that classic, like,
Barbershop.
no, it's like 60s, like,
Sex Panther.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time.
no, it's just different. I do enjoy this one, though. Oh, I hate when I see. This is vintage stuff, folks, and Matt's always like...
Splashing it all over the place. Woo!
So we'll get back to you on the dry down and how this stuff pans out.
I have to
the
put
rest of
some
the
in my
episode.
hair sometimes.
He does, and it's weird. But, so that's Burley.
That is burly.
Do not confuse them.
Speaking of burly, you
Straight
are
razors.
a badass who has conquered the art of straight razor shaving, and you are wondering, how the heck can I keep my blade edge just like that?
What the hell is that? It's like a squirrel.
I keep on thinking of, what's
Squirrels.
his name? From Princess Bride, what's his name? Just like this.
Billy Crystal?
Yeah, that's the one.
True love is the greatest thing in the world. Except for a nice MLT, a mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich when the mutton is nice and lean and the tomato is ripe. It's so perky. I love that.
Yeah.
You picked Princess Bride to remember Billy Crystal? He had such a small role in that.
But he made it so big.
Mostly dead.
There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead. Please open his mouth.
He's mostly dead.
Okay.
What about City Slickers? We're in Arizona, man.
Yeah. Well, so straight razors. The number one thing you're going to do for everyday, daily usage of a straight edge is, of course, strop it. Preferably with a full-size strop.
But we won't judge it if you use something smaller.
Yeah, we have these great little, practice ones that are wonderful when you're getting started, because if you neck the hell out of it, It's not the end of the world. And we don't need to do a demonstration of stropping. We already know how to do that. But
We could do that.
all right, we will do.
I
that.
could hold the edge and you could strop away.
Fine. Actually, I'm going to self-strop with this guy. You don't need to hold anything.
Let's tell us what you're using here.
I am using a tiny little loom strop, as it's called, and this is one that I found at an antique store, and then I cut a new piece of leather for it because it's all dried out, and I've kind of restored it more or less. And it's got horsehide on here, and I've even sanded it to have a nap.
There is a nap.
It's nap time.
Yeah. I'm to take a nap.
Now, typically, you have a 3-inch wide straight razor blade. Most of these small guys are going to be less than 3 inches. If you have a full size, it's 3, so it's great. But if it's less than 3,
strop.
Yep, the X pattern. So you're always going to have the edge trailing, and you're going to go across the full length, turn on your spine, and bring it back using minimal pressure. And the point of the loom strop is to kind of mimic.
Yeah.
It mimics what hanging strop does, where it has a little bit of a flex to it. So anywho, these are great for travel. But other than just daily stropping, if you want to maintain your edge, what are you going to do? Well, there are some options.
Well, I just want to point out, though, one thing about this is there really is no edge at the end here, so really be careful of your hand there. Some people come too far and nick themselves, so really be conscious that there's no guard here.
Think this is your usable area.
Yeah, so from here to here is really, just be very conscious when you're using this.
Right. We actually, on our strops we make, we put the logos up here and USA's at the bottom so that I tell people strop in between those two lines.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of upkeep, one of the most popular things you're going to be reading about, hearing about, are going to be strop pastes, and these are different fats that more or less have abrasive compound put into them.
And here I was thinking it was chocolate.
It didn't taste very good, did it?
Not at all.
So on the back side, this is my strop from home, and I actually have already put up some black emery, kind of like the more abrasive one on here.
Stuff I brush my teeth with.
Yeah, and we had another piece over here for another video where we put on some of this, and I can just demonstrate really quickly that it's not a whole lot needed. In fact, I actually put a little bit too much my first time on there. Really just lightly, kind of like a crayon. Here, actually what you could do is hold this with a little tension so that the camera can actually see it. Very, very lightly.
A little goes a long way.
Yeah, seriously. And it's on there for good. And I always tell people, put it on your canvas side, not on your leather side, just because you want your leather to be nice and clean. And the canvas, it's a perfect medium for that. I guess if you really wanted to, you could wash it and get it out. It is canvas. But
I like the burnt sienna look, you know? It's nice. Shows love and use.
So what that's going to do is, as you're stropping, now we'll do the same demonstration, but now this time I will need Doug's help to hold a little tension on here. As you're stropping, you know, what you're doing is it's going against more tension. Schnell. It's going against this abrasive compound, and it is actually not just aligning your edge, which is what stropping is doing. It's actually polishing away a little bit of metal because there's a compound in there, an abrasive compound. And that is actually going to give you more life out of your edge. People ask all the time, how long will I get out of a honing? And that's like rubbing a crystal ball, because your facial hair, your facial hair, and you know how frequent you use a straight edge. There's so many factors.
There is.
But I would say on average, maybe 3 to 6 months. Using a strop compound will extend that life, so you don't have to send it in for honing as much. Now, other kind of upkeep. If you have an old vintage strop that is beat and broken, they are stuff like leather balms, and this is great to kind of rehab your strop.
Brings it back to life.
Yeah, so it pretty much is like a petroleum jelly almost. In fact,
it probably is, actually.
Probably just is. You probably can tell me more about it than I could.
Because I'm all about petroleum jelly, is that what you're saying?
Yep. So I'll just put a little bit on my leather here, but my leather's in pretty good shape. I try to rub it down every couple weeks. Yep, give it a rub down.
With petroleum jelly.
Yep, lots of jelly, lots of rubbing.
I guess I'm holding this.
Yeah, you're just my hands.
What is this?
Doug, you're my hands today. So I go in my bathroom, I get jelly all over my hands, and I just like to rub my strap like this. But seriously, If you don't use
I feel
the
like
balm,
I'm really part of something here.
you're the other half of something here.
Like, is it cool if I bring this guy into confession with me? Go on.
So,
Father.
so just the oils on your hand, or maybe a little bit of that, petroleum jelly, the Strop balm, will be fine to keep the leather nice and supple for years and years and years to come.
Supple, like my skin.
Yes. Now, we've talked about Strop care, we've talked about paste. What about the actual edge? What about the actual straight razor itself? One of the biggest problems we see, this is my personal straight razor, very sharp.
Personal straight razor.
Personal straight razor. One of the biggest problems we see that people talk about with the Strops is they put it away and then they come back a week later or whatever to use it and they pull it open and there's rust on the edge and they're like, what the heck, I put it away. Okay, rookie mistake, hate to tell you, but your best option if you're going to be straight razor shaving is to
Oil it.
yeah, leave it open, oil it if you like, especially if you're in some of these really humid climates like Florida, a lot of humidity factor in the air.
Any one of the coasts,
Yeah.
for obvious reasons.
Leave it open for at least an hour because what happens is you're shaving and moisture gets inside the handles, the scales here, okay? And then you go to close it, it's like a death trap. It's like a coffin for the razor. You may think the blade's nice and dry, but then there's moisture that's a millimeter away from it and it will just transfer right to the steel. Steel's like a sponge. It will soak up moisture. So very, very important, leave it open. The other thing is, do not put it in its fancy little travel case right away either. Now you're like double wrongs.
You're locking in moisture where you don't want to.
Yeah, double,
You're double wrong.
doubling wrong.
Because that's a thing.
That's a real thing.
Now it is.
2 negatives equal positive. Wait,
So,
maybe you should do it.
maybe we need to rethink this.
No, but this is even worse. I only use and I even have the official J.A. Hinkle's case here.
That's a pretty cool case.
Thank you. I only use this when I'm traveling. And I brought it to the shop today for this video, so I travel with it. Other than that, it should stay on the counter. And if possible, if little ones are not around, prying fingers, leave it open. You're not gonna hurt anything if it's open. If you have some kind of stand for that, or at least cracked or
What
something.
about putting some moisture packets in it, like the silicone, like absorbing?
I like that idea a lot. I
Just
really
candy.
like that idea. I may start selling those.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what we do
They
here.
double as candy.
Yeah.
Only on Halloween.
Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor.
Yeah, but any travel case will work. Even vintage ones look really cool. You can find those on eBay for cheap or
Oh
antique
yeah.
stores.
Oh, definitely the antique shops.
Use a little shoe polish on them.
Brings them right back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But certainly for travel is great. If you're in a hotel and you bring a straight razor, try to leave it open as long as possible before you pack it back up. And the moisture packet that Doug pointed out was a great idea. Seriously.
Every now and
I've
then,
never
folks.
thought of it.
Every
12
now and
years
then.
of doing this, I never thought of that.
I blow minds.
So that describes some of the most basic upkeep on a straight edge. Make sure you send it into a qualified Honemeister for sharpening.
Oh, do you know any, Matt?
Yeah. But I'm not trying to plug us shamelessly. No.
Not in public, anyways.
I tell customers all the time on the phone that shaving alone with a straight razor requires its own set of talents.
So I use the buddy system.
Learning to hone is a whole other set of talents, and a lot of money. You may spend $1,000 on a set of stones, and it may take you quite a while. I mean, it'd be like it's a lot easier to buy a soap from someone like Doug than try to learn how to make a whole batch of soap. It's not going to be economical. If you're going to do it for a long time and you want to get into lots of different razors and you love knives and cutlery, sure, buy some stones. If this is just a casual thing or your typical wet shaver, send it to somewhere that knows what they're doing. Because the last thing you want is to feel a dull edge scrape across your face. It's just not going to be any fun.
And I know personally for me, it's more about hands-on experience. I mean, there are lots of videos on YouTube where you can learn how to do the hone, but at meetups, a lot of these guys bring stones with them, different stones, and showing you the technique right then and there. Like I wouldn't chance one of my favorite razors learning it just via YouTube. Not saying don't try. I mean, if you want to do that and try that, by all means, and more power to you. But I know for me personally, it needs to be hands-on. I need someone right there that can ask the right questions to at the right time, and I don't get that with a video.
Yeah, for sure.
So go to a meetup. Meetup.
Yeah, and last but not least, do not forget to oil. We've tried a lot of different products in the shop, and our favorite to date is actually
Mineral. No?
Yeah, we've moved.
Oh.
In the last year or so, we've moved to a new product, and I hate to say it, they're not sponsored. Rem Oil.
Rapid eye movement?
No, Remington oil. Like for
gun oil?
Yeah, but the wipes. I just bought a whole package for the shop.
And they work?
They look like pull-up wipes, and you wipe it down, and let me tell you, we did a comparison between mineral oil and rem oil on a couple straight edges, and the rem oil won out.
Is there not mineral oil in the rem oil?
There could be. I don't know what's in it.
I
but
used
it
to
goes
use it on baseball gloves.
Yeah. It goes on, and not only does it stay on, but it doesn't feel goopy or sticky. You won't even know it's on after about a day or two, and we left a blade on the counter, another blade with mineral oil, and sure enough, the one with mineral oil actually eventually started showing some little rust marks, and the one with rem oil still didn't show anything after weeks and weeks and weeks.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and carbon steel is just renowned for that, so be aware. You're starting out with straight razors, it's pretty much always carbon steel, and that's got to be a factor to always consider as oiling. So,
where do we go from here?
I think on this note of deterioration and corrosion, we should have a little
Shave off?
comparison.
Oh.
Shape face off. Seeing the difference between different storage methods and seeing if we can tell the difference.
Like what we just talked about?
Pretty much like we talked about. Let's do it.
Okay.
This just in.
Speedy delivery. Well, folks,
Always has to one up me.
this is a, get used to it. This is a competition as we typically do, but it's a new competition, new to us, new to you. What do we do?
We have 5 straight razors here, all the exact same make, and we have had them in different areas of the house.
You have?
Yeah.
So,
Well, no, somebody on our crew, Marissa, had these in different conditions here to show us what would happen to a straight razor if left
uncoated or
Yes. So
unloved,
our options are completely submerged
in water,
in water.
but not oiled.
And I'm going to have to go with this one.
You didn't read all the options, man.
I know, but it's the most obvious one. Completely submerged.
This is why we use oil.
Yeah.
It just fell off that. Rust.
Yeah. Don't let that touch your skin. You get tetanus.
Now we know better than that, Matt.
No, we don't. Go ahead. Cut yourself with it.
No.
You can teach us the
Yeah.
way, Lord.
Okay, what else we got?
The next one is, and these ones are going to be a little more shades of gray. We have to pick which razor was left. Oh, first off, is this correct? Submerged? Okay.
She's like, yeah.
Okay. Where's your bullhorn? Okay, these other ones look pretty good. We have options like unboxed and coated in a dry room.
That's inbox. Inbox, uncoated.
Yeah, I was reading this one.
I'm not even wearing my glasses.
In a bathroom, inbox uncoated, unboxed coated, unboxed uncoated. I know these always sound very familiar.
I'm gonna say unboxed, uncoated,
In a moist bathroom,
in a moist bathroom.
that one looks the worst next to that hunk of junk
What do
over
you?
there.
What do we got?
Letter D. We said unboxed uncoated in a bathroom.
We got a
moist
thumbs
bathroom.
up.
Okay, we won that one. Moist bathroom, unboxed uncoated.
Put that down.
All right, now we have 3 other ones. These all look fairly good. This one obviously shows coating. It shows oil all over it, so we know this one had oil. This one has some rust up here. I don't feel any oil either. So I'm gonna have to say that was
I agree.
unboxed. We already won that one, unboxed uncoated. That must have been uncoated in box. Letter B, in box uncoated. All right.
Killing this.
A little bit of rust, but not much. Very little bit of surface rust right back over here. I'll try to leave that pointed up.
So air drying clearly does have its merits. That's uncoated in oil and it's unboxed, so it was left to air dry.
Yeah.
Where this was inbox uncoated, so there was still moisture deposits on
Right.
that, where you see those rust deposits.
Now these last two,
Deposits twice.
these both have coatings on them. We can see the oil on them, which are our 2 left options. Now one of them, I see a speck of rust up here.
Oh, really?
There. Okay. So this one I see no rust on it.
And what are our options that are left?
Submerged is gone, unboxed,
Coated.
and well, the best looking one should be that. The best looking one should be C, unboxed and coated. All right.
We got that.
And that, by process elimination, that means this was in a bathroom.
Where most elimination transpires.
in box but coated.
E.
E.
Not in a box.
Not in a box. Sorry, coated but in a bathroom. All right. Yeah. And we still have a little bit of rust right
And you
here
can see hairs stuck to it too. So yeah, it was definitely,
left in a bathroom.
unless we're
Yeah.
shedding over here.
So I think we got all of them.
It's pretty obvious. Common sense does play a huge part when, maintaining a straight razor, folks, what it all comes down to.
So it looked like the best condition was
Clearly this one. Yeah. Not.
was to be coated and in a box. Was the best way to do
No.
it.
Coated outside of a box.
Coated and outside of a box.
Coated and in a dry room.
And in the
Sorry.
dry
God, that's very confusing. Lots of different options.
It's not really. Follow me. Follow me.
Said Jesus. If you're going to keep your straight razor to live a long time, hand down to your kids or
Someone else's.
dog, make sure to always use oil and coat your blade.
And air drying.
Air dry. Don't put them in the box.
Don't put it in the box. And this goes for a lot of things right across the wet shaving world.
What's
Soap
in the
still.
box?
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Red snapper.
No, what's in the box?
Very tasty.
You didn't catch the reference.
I was doing UHF.
I was doing Brad Pitt.
You didn't catch my reference.
You did have a reference.
UHF.
What's UHF?
The Weird Al movie?
Never saw it.
Mr. Seinfeld? That's where Kramer got his start.
Oh, really?
My mop! George? Yeah.
Come on, forget about it. It's only a mop. Only a mop. Only a mop. You don't understand. That mop was given to me for my birthday when I was 8 years old.
Okay. Well,
You
that's-
get to drink from the fire hose. No one knows what I'm talking about? You guys know what I'm talking about. UHF. If you haven't seen it,
if you know what
classic.
he's talking about, comment below. If you know what I was talking about, comment twice below.
It's always a pissing contest. Folks, thank you for watching. And if you'd like to win this handsome I'd Lather Be Shaving mug, like, comment, and subscribe. Chances are you already subscribed. If you don't, you're a fool.
Share
But
with your friends and your coworkers.
make them jealous. But comment below, and this could be yours.
And you know what else is mine? Burley. It's drying down beautifully and
It's nice.
Wonderful.
It's really nice. Remember, it's not the Old Spice Burley. This is the Phoenix, Arizona Burley.
yeah.
Booyah.
Phoenix. Bye.
Hetero.
God,
hates
not
my
that
city.
again.